What's truly the secret to, thriving in today's incredibly fast-paced, often chaotic world? Is it just relentless ambition? Or staying ahead with all the cutting-edge tech? Or could the real measure of a successful life, maybe even a flourishing business, lie in something, well, far older, something found in ancient wisdom? Can foundational principles from the Bible actually offer a tangible, a competitive advantage today? Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the Steward's Handbook, Proverbs for Work, Wealth, and Wisdom. It's this fascinating book, and it offers a really powerful argument that true prosperity isn't about frantic ambition or endless striving. Instead, it suggests it's deeply rooted in character and faithful service.
That's exactly right. And the Steward's Handbook, the guide we're exploring today, it doesn't just list verses. It takes specific Bible passages, mostly from the timeless book of Proverbs and the Gospel of Matthew, and it distills them into practical, actionable principles, things you can actually use. We're trying to cut through a lot of the noise, to reveal these profound truths from the scriptures that are honestly surprisingly relevant for our modern lives, whether you're navigating your daily work, your relationships, or your personal finances. We're really going to lean into what these Bible verses are telling us directly, how they apply right now.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The handbook kicks things off by laying down a foundational principle for success. And it's one we often hear but maybe dismiss as too simple. It's a fundamental commitment to hard work, or what the Bible calls diligence. What exactly do these ancient texts tell us about just, showing up and being diligent?
Well, the core message about diligence is incredibly clear. It's diligent, focused work is presented as a direct path to honor and provision. Take Proverbs 22.29, for example. It asks, "Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men." Now, this proverb isn't just about securing a good job. It implies that consistent diligence leads to real influence, respect. Think about maybe the entrepreneur who meticulously develops their product day after day, year after year, eventually finds themselves presenting to VCs or, industry leaders. That's this ancient wisdom playing out right now.
Wow. So diligence can literally elevate you, put you in the room with powerful people. That's a pretty strong endorsement for just putting in the effort.
It absolutely is. And it's not just about influence either. Proverbs 14.23 adds to this. It states, "In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury." This verse really emphasizes the tangible returns of real effort. It's a direct contrast, see? Consistent, hard work brings actual profit, while empty words or just, talking without doing anything, that only leads to penury, which means poverty, destitution.
That's a stark reminder. Talk is cheap, basically. Action generates results. But what happens if that diligence is lacking? What are the consequences the Bible lays out for the opposite of hard work?
Yeah, the scriptures don't shy away from that. They detail the stark consequences of sloth, of indulgence. Proverbs 13.4 paints a really vivid picture here. "The soul of the sluggard desireth and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat." So the sluggard, the lazy person, they just wish for things but never actually achieve them. The contrast is powerful.
Yeah.
Wanting without effort leads to nothing. But the diligent, through their consistent work, they find their lives full, abundant, prosperous, made fat, as the proverb puts it so vividly.
The soul of the diligent shall be made fat. That's a unique image, isn't it? Prosperity, satisfaction. Does it go beyond just avoiding idleness?
It does, and it gets even more direct, actually. Proverbs 23.21 warns, "For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags." This highlights the severe outcomes of a general lack of self-discipline, indulging in destructive habits. So it's not just about avoiding physical work, but how a broader lack of self-control can completely unravel your life, leading to ruin, both material and personal.
That really broadens the scope of diligence, doesn't it? It's about overall discipline. So as you listen, maybe reflect. How do your daily habits align with these ancient calls for diligence? Is your effort truly matching your aspirations? That's a powerful challenge to sit with. Okay, so taking that personal discipline outwards, the handbook then turns its attention to how our words and our relationships shape our success and well-being.
Right. And what's fascinating here is how much emphasis the Bible places on the power of our speech and our associations, who we hang out with. It's not just about what you do, but what you say and who you're with. Take Proverbs 20.1. It warns, "He that goes about as a talebearer revealeth secrets. Therefore meddle not with him that flattereth with his lips." This verse speaks directly to the danger of gossip and also the insincere, often manipulative nature of flattery. It basically advises us to steer clear of people who do that stuff because they're unreliable. They can really harm trust.
So it's not just about being truthful yourself, but also being discerning, careful about who you listen to, who you align with. What makes it so hard for people to, master this restraint in speech? And what's the practical impact when they don't?
That's a great question. I think often it's a lack of wisdom, or maybe an impulsive nature. The contrast between wisdom and foolishness in speech is highlighted if you put two verses together. Proverbs 17.27a, he that hath knowledge spareth his words, and Proverbs 20.3b, but every fool will be meddling. See, a person with true knowledge understands the power of silence. They choose their words carefully, weighing the impact. A fool, though, they just constantly interfere without understanding, often making situations worse through their uncontrolled speech. The practical impact is, well, a loss of respect, loss of trust, and often significant conflict.
That distinction is key. Knowledge isn't just what you know, but how you apply it, even in how much or how little you speak. But what about the company we keep? How does that shape us according to these texts?
Oh, the Bible is incredibly clear on the power of influence from our associations. Proverbs 4.1 song states it plainly. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. It's a direct command. Avoid even beginning a journey down a path that will lead you astray. It's preventative, right? Don't even start walking with them.
It's like setting up guardrails before you even get close to the edge. Smart.
Exactly. And the consequences if you don't. They're vividly illustrated in Proverbs 6.28. Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burned? That imagery, it just underscores the unavoidable consequences of engaging with harmful influences.
Yeah.
You can't immerse yourself in toxic environments or relationships without being impacted. It's inevitable, like, well, walking on hot coals. And this all culminates in Proverbs 13.20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. This proverb emphasizes that direct link between our companions and our character, and ultimately our destiny. You really do become like those you spend the most time with. Yeah.
That's really sobering. For you listening, it's worth considering. Who are the people you spend the most time with? How do their words, their actions influence your own? That's a crucial point, and yeah, a powerful invitation to self-reflection. Now, moving from general conduct and associations, the handbook then shifts to the proactive building of relationships. It points to one profound principle that sort of governs all of it.
Yeah, it starts with the idea that friendship isn't passive. It requires initiative. Proverbs 18.24a says, a man that hath friends must show himself friendly. You have to be proactive. Cultivate connections, extend yourself. But what truly governs all human interaction, what the handbook calls the whole circle of our obligation to one another, is this single profound principle from Christ himself.
And that would be the golden rule, I'm guessing.
Precisely, Matthew 7.1 way. It states, therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. This isn't just a suggestion for, polite behavior. It's presented as the ultimate governing principle for every interaction. It's about empathy, foresight, actively treating others with the same respect, kindness, fairness that you want for yourself. It really underpins all just and thriving relationships, personal or professional. It forces you, really, to consider the other person's view before you act.
Wow. Yeah, if we all truly lived by that, the world would look very different. For you listening, think about this. How might applying this law of Christ fundamentally change your approach to your relationships, both personal and professional? Maybe starting today. Okay, let's shift focus now. Let's move into the practical realm of wealth and business. The Bible, far from being silent on these things, offers incredibly clear and often, counterintuitive guidance on integrity in our financial dealings.
Indeed. The scriptures highlight that true blessing in financial pursuits comes from faithfulness, not from some frantic, unprincipled chase for riches. Proverbs 28.2 states it clearly, a faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent. This contrasts steady, honest work with the dangers of trying to get rich quickly through, questionable means. Think of all those get-rich-quick schemes, or maybe unverified online ventures promising instant wealth. The Bible warns these paths often lead to a loss of integrity and ultimately a lack of true blessing.
So it's not just about what you gain, but how you gain it. That definitely ties into how wealth is accumulated, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Proverbs 13.1 clarifies this point. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. So wealth acquired through deceit, fraud, empty promises, what's called vanity, here it will inevitably diminish. It lacks a genuine foundation. But wealth that's gathered through honest, consistent labor, that will grow and endure. And Proverbs 21.6 gives an even sharper warning. The getting of treasures by a lying tongue is a vanity tossed to and fro of them that seek death. That really underscores the destructive, fleeting nature of dishonest gain, linking it to grave consequences.
Wow, those verses really paint a picture, don't they? Lasting prosperity versus fleeting, dangerous wealth. What about financial prudence, like debt?
Ah, yes, debt. The Bible has clear warnings about the dangers of debt and getting entangled in the financial affairs of others. Proverbs 22.7b states a really profound truth. The borrower is servant to the lender. This isn't just an economic observation, it's a spiritual one. It highlights the loss of freedom, the vulnerability inherent in borrowing. When you owe someone, you are, in a very real sense, kind of beholden to them.
That's a powerful statement about financial autonomy. Hits hard.
It is. And the scriptures also advise against being a surety for others. That means essentially co-signing or guaranteeing someone else's debt. Proverbs 11.1 thing says, "He that is surety for a stranger shall smart for it, and he that hateth suretyship is sure." To smart for it means you will suffer financial pain. It's a direct warning about the potential entanglement, the painful consequences that can come from taking on financial responsibility for others, especially people you don't know well.
Okay. Good advice. Finally, the handbook emphasizes a strong warning against injustice, particularly towards the vulnerable.
Yes, this is a critical point. It really highlights the ethical dimension of wealth in the Bible. The scriptures detail severe consequences for exploiting those who are less fortunate. Proverbs 23.11 warns, "Remove not the old landmark, and enter not into the fields of the fatherless, for their Redeemer is mighty, he shall plead their cause with thee." This emphasizes a divine protection for the vulnerable. It states that God himself will act as their defender against injustice. It's a powerful reminder that exploiting the defenseless, well, it has a divine reckoning.
So there's a higher justice at play. It's not just about human laws or getting caught.
Absolutely. And this principle of consequences, it extends further. Proverbs 22.16 states, "He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches shall surely come to want." It's a clear promise almost. Those who gain wealth by exploiting the poor will ultimately suffer loss themselves. And the principle is powerfully summarized in Proverbs 26.27. "Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him." It's like a universal law of cause and effect, what you do to others, especially in harmful ways, it eventually comes back to you.
Powerful stuff. As you reflect on all this, how do these financial principles resonate with your current approach? Your approach to money, debt, ethical dealings in your own life or business? These are profound insights, really. They transcend time, giving us so much to consider for our practical lives. But how does it all fit together? The handbook highlights that beyond these individual virtues, there's an overarching truth, something that underpins all true success. It sounds like we're tracing a path from diligence to conduct, managing resources, and now, the ultimate purpose behind it.
Exactly. What's truly foundational, the handbook argues, is this. Integrity, diligence, temperance, purity, and thrift constitute a better capital than any amount of mere money. These character traits are more valuable, more enduring than any financial asset. But the ultimate foundation, the real bedrock of success, is the recognition of God's ownership. This means understanding that the creator of all things, he is the original proprietor. We are simply his stewards. Stewards, meaning we're entrusted with managing what ultimately belongs to him. All that we have, our talents, resources, even our time, it's all a trust from him to be used according to his direction.
So when we embrace that idea, our work, our business, it becomes part of something much bigger than just our own ambition. It almost sounds like it should remove a lot of anxiety from daily life.
It absolutely should, and it does for many who embrace it.
Yeah.
When we embrace this, our business or our calling transforms. It becomes part of God's great plan. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians 3.9 that we are laborers together with God. Now, this perspective shifts our dependence away from the successful outcome of our efforts, which can be incredibly stressful, right? Full of worry, and shifts it to the promise of God. This understanding brings profound peace. It removes a tremendous amount of anxiety from our daily lives. When you know you're working as a steward for a greater purpose, the pressure to control every single outcome, it diminishes.
That sounds incredibly freeing. Is there a specific Bible verse that really encapsulates this idea, letting go of anxiety by embracing stewardship?
There is, yeah. And it connects powerfully to Matthew 6.3133. This is where Christ advises, "Therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or wherewithal shall we be clothed? But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." Now, this isn't a promise of like instant riches, but rather that when you align your priorities, your work with God's will, seeking his kingdom first, your basic needs will be met. true prosperity follows. It eliminates that anxious care about material needs because your trust is placed in a higher provision.
That really brings it full circle. So, for you listening, consider this. What would it mean for you to truly embrace the idea of being a steward rather than an anxious owner in your work and finances? How might seeking first the kingdom of God practically impact your daily decisions? As we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear, isn't it? The principles we've explored from Proverbs and Matthew aren't just ancient tips for self-improvement. They are a profound call to reorient our entire perspective on what true prosperity actually means. True success in our work, our relationships, or finances, it seems to flow from one clear source: ceasing to be anxious owners and faithfully becoming Christ-led stewards who seek God's kingdom above all else.
Absolutely. Understanding and, more importantly, applying these Bible verses offers a path to profound well-being for you, not just in business, but in every single aspect of your life. It's about building a foundation that truly endures, something far beyond fleeting gains.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If true prosperity flows from one source, ceasing to be anxious owners and faithfully becoming Christ-led stewards, what is one area of your life where you can consciously choose stewardship over anxiety this week?